Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Zin Min and I am obsessed with hydroponics. So let's get started. Today I'm going to go over the Kratky method for hydroponics, and I got a little script here, so I don't have any editing skills, so we're just doing this live, or we're going to post live here. First thing is, I wanted to say is I'm a ESL instructor at the Wellington School, and I teach hydroponics and independent student research for their last 2 years. And some of the things that we grow are basil, lettuce, tomatoes. Today we're going to try strawberries, and you can do radishes, you can do anything. And this year specifically, we did the Growing Beyond Earth Challenge with Fairfield Botanical Gardens down in Miami, Florida, who received a grant from NASA, and hundreds of schools all over the country participate in this competition. And then NASA sends you the grow light, and you assemble it, the students assemble it, and fans and timers and hygrometers and a light spectrum unit, and all the cultivars, which are randomly selected. And if you win, you go on to the International Space Station. And it's really cool for the students. It's a STEM project, and the students get to present at the end of the year if they like, down in Miami, Florida. So today I'm going to do a couple things, about 5 things. Number one, I'm going to give you a brief introduction and history of B.A. Kratky, his method, for the Kratky method for hydroponics. Number two, I'm going to show you my style of hydroponics and for the Kratky method and the cost associated with it. 3, talk very briefly about different fruits and vegetables that you can grow, and the temperature and the growth phase. Number 4, just go over a little bit more of the Growing Beyond Earth Challenge and what it comprises. And then number 5, I just want to give a shout out and thanks specifically to Professor Emeritus B.A. Kratky, and also a handful of other people on YouTube that I know nothing about science and nothing about measurements, and I learned all this from YouTube. So, all right, let's get started. Number 1, I'm going to show you how we do a few things, or I'm going to show you what you need real quick. So I'm just going to try to go right in order here. Okay, so you need about 13, 14 items. Number 1, this is probably the most important thing, you're gonna need net cups, and I'm not sure what these are, 2-inch or 3-inch net cups, and then this is the other smaller one. So you're gonna need one of these 2 sizes for your whatever you're growing, and you can get these at any hydroponic store. Sometimes, rarely, you'll find them at a garden store. You might have to go specifically. I'm here in Columbus, Ohio, so we go to Hydroponics in Hilliard, and then there's another one off of up north in Clintonville, which is a really, really great hydroponic store. Number 2, what you're going to need is fertilizer. So you can use any type of fertilizer. This is the very first fertilizer that I started out with. It's Root Farm, and it's a really good product, and it's specifically for flowering vegetables like tomatoes, and it worked really well. I started this about 2 years ago. This is liquid. It was pretty expensive, but the best part is you don't have to mix anything up. It's already done for you, and there's a 2-part solution. So this is the base, and then the other part is actually supporting it's called the supplement, is supporting the camera right now. But I just, actually, perfect timing, I've got this today in the mail, no lie, I just checked it. This is from Morgan County Seeds. You can order it online. And so basically what you're ordering, this is Master Blend, so this is what everybody uses. And this is basically NPK, and this is the nitrogen, which stands for the N, and this is the P, which stands for the phosphorus, and then the K is potassium, and that's just Epsom salt or table salt. So these were 1 pound volumes that I got off of Morgan County Seed, and you won't believe this, but this costs this was $4.30, and then this is $2.90. It actually costs more to ship these items, twice as much. It costs $8.30 to ship these items. So the total was $15.50. So this is Master Blend, and when you mix it all together, which we'll do here in a bit, that's what gives you the Master Blend fertilizer nutrient solution. Number 3, you're going to need soil plugs, and they look like this. This one's been soaking, so it looks just like this, just a little thing, and they'll come in a big container just like that. This is in it. There's 72 of these soil plugs, so that's one version, and that can run anywhere from $7 to $11 for 72 of those plugs. I'll put that right there for now, but the other version is right here. These are called rock wool, and they look like this. You can see they have a little hole in the middle. That's where you stick the seed. The same thing, these are really inexpensive, probably about the same amount as the soil. And you just throw that in water, and then it soaks it up. And then when you take it out, it looks like this. It looks just like that. You can keep it in there a little longer. So that's that. And then that's what it does. It goes right into the net cup, just like that. You can see that. So just like that. Okay? Or you can put it, the soil one, in there as well, like that. That's where the seed goes. Okay, number 4, sorry, you need some type of sunlight or artificial light. So you can have a CFL bulb, LED bulb, or a grow bulb. Any of those work, and they're all very, very inexpensive. Stay right there. Okay, so this is what I was saying. These are the CFL bulbs, or curlicue pigtail bulbs. They're not anything special. Or you can get a grow bulb that looks like this, which probably maybe like $20. These I think are about $2, $3. Or you can get the fancier version, which looks like this. And I'm just plugging it in so you can see. This is the fancy version here. So that's the pink bulb, and that's really nice. Hold on, let me show you what that looks like. So you can see the difference. And this is same. This is a special bulb. You can see all those special little LED lights in it. And basically these all have the red, blue, green, and I'm assuming white spectrum that flowering plants specifically need, that creates that pink hue. Okay, I'm going to stick that back there. Or you can just use sunlight if you live in a warm enough area like the Southwest or Hawaii. Number 5, you need some type of container to actually put your plants in, and today I'm going to show you how I make up this container right here using a Powerade or Gatorade bottle or whatever energy drink bottle you want. I'm going to also try to attempt to put one in this container here, and we'll get to that. And you can also use the big, I don't know what those are, 20, 30, 60 gallon totes. They're rather large and tall. Number 6, for my version, you're going to need some aluminum foil to wrap up the container, and when you get it wrapped up, it'll look like this is the finished product, and that's to get rid of all the algae that the sunlight will produce. If you just leave it in an empty container, the sunlight will penetrate it and then get your water all green and algae, and then it infects the plant, and then the plant it'll still keep growing, but it may or may not flower, or may kill a plant eventually. Number 7, you need hydrogen. You don't have to have these, but hydrogen pebbles, a bag of it looks like this. You can get those at the hydroponic store. But everybody says this too, and I didn't find out, but you want to wash them in water because they have clay on them, and that distorts the composition of the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium fertilizer. So make sure and wash those off. Number 8, you're going to need a razor blade. So you're going to want to get some type of razor blade. I'll show you how we cut that open here in just a second. Number 9, you're going to need seeds or plants. So today we're going to do plants. I've never done somewhat fully mature plants, but seeds are a little bit more fun because then you can say you grew it from the very beginning. Stir stick, you don't ideally want to touch the solution, so stir stick. And if you do touch any of that solution, wash it off your hands immediately. It is fertilizer. You're going to need a 1 gallon, 3 gallon, 5 gallon bucket. Here's ours right here. It's already filled with water. A scale. So this is a Cook's scale, and we'll show you how that works. You're going to measure out the solution. Basically, it's a 2-to-1 ratio. So 2 grams of nitrogen, 2 grams of phosphorus, and 1 gram of potassium. Very easy. It sounds complicated, but it's not. I'm horrible at math, and I'm horrible at measurements. And then if you're going to use a different solution, like a preset solution like this, you can use a milliliter cup that you get whenever you get a prescription for kids or anybody. They give you this one is a 15 ml, so 1 teaspoon is 5 milliliters. So the conversion is relatively simple. And on this, there's different growth phases. So there's the flowering phase, the intermediate phase, and then the already processed. And I think they word it as seedling stage, early growth, and mature growth stage. So it varies the amount, the volume that you're going to use. I think that might be it. So let's go ahead and start. And what I'm going to show you today is, first thing is you want to save and wash any of these bottles that you have in it. They look just like this, but this one is not filled up anymore. But this one is. So you can see it's still got the red juice in it. So you want to wash all that out, rinse it out, and then what you're going to do is you take a razor blade, and if you cut it just right, you might not even have to cut it, but there's a little spot where it's glued right there, and if you get it just right, just peel that right off. And so that's perfectly done, and you can stick that in the garbage. So then the next thing you're going to do, and this is, by the way, this is 32 ounces, which is 1/4 of a gallon or 1 quart, and this is exactly the amount of water that a head of lettuce will utilize in its growth cycle from germination to harvest. You may have to top it off just a little tiny bit more, but for the most part, if you keep on a 24-hour light cycle, this will be the perfect amount of water. So you don't have to touch it once you put the seed or whatever in. So, and here's what I do. I'll put that plug there. I just take this and flip it upside down, and then you get your pen. This is part 2 here. Put it on the other end, and you just trace around it like so. Like so. And make sure hold that thing still, because if it's too thick, if you cut too much, the net cup will fall through. If you cut too little, then you got to recut because it won't stay in there. And then this is the part that's not. Don't have a kid do this because it's very dangerous. Be very careful even if you're an adult. So you stick that in there, and then you're just going to slowly go on the inside, the top side of the line. And you're going to cut around that. Go as slow as you can. Better to be a little bit short than a little bit big. There, just like that. And then you can pitch that part. And then you can see the net cup fits right in there. Just perfect. Then you can see I cut almost a little bit too wide. See, it's almost ready to fall down in, but it won't. Okay, so next, now that you cut it out, is you got to put some aluminum foil on that sucker. You take this down off of there, and I'm gonna take some aluminum foil. Hold on here. Measure it about that much. About that much. Alright. You got that. And then you're gonna put the shiny side on the outside. All you gotta do is you put it up a little bit higher. And you get a piece of tape. Stick it on there to hold it, and wrap that sucker up like that. And you stick another piece of tape like that, and then the excess you can just fold it over like so. Fold it over. And then the bottom, you just stick it under like that. There you go. And you got your container all done. Okay, and if you want another piece of tape, you can put another piece of tape on there to keep all the sunlight out. Okay, so you might have to flatten that a little bit on the bottom so it sits still like that. See, it's not level there. Now it's level like that. And then that's where the neck cup goes, right in there. Okay, so there's your container. And then what's next? So we already wet the soil plugs, and we put those in there. And I have some radish seeds somewhere. I don't see them. But Zin, do you see those radish seeds anywhere? The radish seeds? Oh, here they are. So here you can. Now this is for our aquaponic that I chose. You can buy this. Was at the garden center, where you can put. All you gotta do is just drop one seed down into that piece of rock wool, like so, and then maybe you can see it. There it is. You can see it, and then that's all you got to do is just put this in here, and well, you put the solution in here, and I'll get to that part in just a second. But what you want to do when you fill up the container, you're going to only fill it. You can see, hold on just a second. So you're going to fill it right about there. So when you put you can see the level I topped it off on. When you put the neck cup in there, you only want it to go to about 1/4 right here to that line. There's a little line on these neck cups. Maybe you can see that, maybe you can't. You can see that 1/4 line right there. So you're going to stick that in there. And that's, you can fill it up a little bit more. Like that. About that much. And now you're done. All you have to do is, well, here I could fill this one up too. Well, here I just pour the other one in there. Let me just pour the water in this one. So you would just fill that up. And then you put that in there. So you can do that for the germination phase. Some people, they put their rock wool with their seed in a tray and let it germinate first, and then they transplant it in here. You don't have to do that. You can just stick it directly in here, and it'll take off. It's the same thing. You want to poke a little hole in the soil one if there isn't a hole in there, about about a 1/2 inch down. So we didn't make our solution yet, so we'll go ahead and make our solution. All right, that's step one, making the 32-ounce growth thing. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to make this fertilizer solution, and this is the stuff here. Actually, I don't think I can make this solution because I'll show you how to do it anyhow, because I don't have the magnesium salicylate, which is the K, the potassium. They just use Epsom salt. So, but we're going to do it anyhow. So what you do is you get your scale, and this is just a cooking scale, and you can see over here which you're going to be in grams. So there's a different measurements on there. So I'm in grams, and I think I already tared mine. Maybe not. I didn't. So you put your whatever you're putting your mix in. You're gonna. So this is, we'll just say this is a cup container. You stick it on there. This weighs 38 grams. So then you're gonna hit the button tare, and then it levels it out. So it's 0. So that way you know how much you're measuring with the container. Okay, so then what you do is you take this, cut it, and don't get this in your eye, don't get this in your mouth, don't get this on your skin, anything. Wash it off right away. Okay, so you're gonna the ratio for the NPK, N stands again for nitrogen, P for phosphorus, and K for potassium. That's what the plants soak up from the soil. Those are the chemicals that they soak up from the soil, which is what makes them grow. But we're eliminating the soil, so the plant is going to just soak it right up from the water and cuts out the middleman. That's why you have such expedited growth. The plant doesn't have to work as hard or as fast. Okay, so you're going to put in here, let's just say we got a 5-gallon bucket. So if it's 221, that means we just multiply it. So we're going to need 10 grams of nitrogen. So that's 2, 3. You gotta go slower is better. Oop, there. That was 10, I think. No? Maybe not. There's 5, 7. A little more. 9. 10. All right, 10 exactly. So that's 10 of that. And then you need, same thing, this is 2-to-1 ratio, 2 for nitrogen, 2 for phosphorus. Does this have a seal on it? Yeah. And 2 for potassium. So this is going to be 10 as well, because we're doing 5 gallons. It's 2-to-1 for 1 gallon, but we're doing 5 gallons. But this needs to go to 20, and that's 20 exactly, 20 grams, or 20 grams total, 10 plus 10. And then we would need magnesium salicylate, and that would be 1, so that would just be 5 more grams of magnesium salicylate or Epsom salt. All right, so that's that, and what you want to do is ideally you can warm your water up in a microwave first, and then it will mix the solution better. And then you just pour it into your water source, like so. And that's it. So that's all. All right. So if you have any questions, just post a comment and I'll return it. I don't have any videos hardly at all on my channel, so I have plenty of time to respond. The brief, and I really didn't go over my own agenda, but the brief history and introduction with B.A. Kratky is, B.A. Kratky is a professor emeritus, which means he's a retired professor. He's at the University of Hawaii, and go check out his website. I'll kind of just go through this real quickly, but he is amazing. I reached out to him in email, and he responded, and he just perfected this hydroponic, and he uses essentially zero. This is a 100% zero energy growing system. So he uses what do you call it? Float valves to give his give his plants the water. So he doesn't ever have to actually go in and do this by hand. It's automatically just being self-fed through a gravitational system. And obviously he uses rainwater. It rains all the time in Hawaii, and he has sunlight 365 days a year. So the only reason we use these grow lights is just because, or a CFL bulb doesn't have to be a grow light. It's just because we don't have as much sunlight. So, but check out B.A. Kratky. He does phenomenal with all his stuff. He does strawberries. He does amazing cucumbers and tomatoes and bok choy and watercress and so many different vegetables and plants. And he has multiple published, peer-reviewed, published papers on the B.A. Kratky method of hydroponics. I think they may even call it deep water culture. You don't have to people put the oxygenator, fish bubblers and stuff in the bottom. You don't have to do any of that. This is 100% free. And the second thing I want to say is, for my style of Kratky, I came up with this container system because I just wanted to try to find a way to reuse and recycle these plastic bottles that are getting thrown out every day. So the aluminum foil, I just come up with that out of failure, basically, because my water turned green, and so I couldn't understand why. So the costs are, these net cups are about 40 cents a piece. If you buy them in bulk, it probably is even less. I think you can buy them for like 150, 200 net cups for not that much. And then the hydrogen rocks, I don't know what that bag of hydrogen rocks was, maybe $10, $15, something like that. You don't have to have that, but it does save you from algae on the top of your rock wool, and on the top of this, your rock wool and your soil will definitely get algae on it. What else? The seeds, you can get any seeds, cucumbers, tomatoes, bok choy. You can get them at anywhere, Home Depot, Lowe's, any garden center, for about $1 to $2 for 100, 200 seeds. So that's really efficient. And then aluminum foil is relatively cheap. Try to think what else you need. The bulb might be the only other thing you need. A couple dollars there. And we already went over the price of this. This is 1 pound. It's really inexpensive, $4, roughly $5 for those two things. What else do you need? We already went over the cost of the soil pods. Those are about $7 to $10 for 72 of them. And a lot of times you can reuse them. See, I still have a whole bunch left over. I've already grown something in them. I'm just going to re-wet them, and they're still good. Remember, you're just germinating in that. They need some type of grow medium. And I'm trying to think if there's any other cost. That's about basically it. The fruits and vegetables, I kind of went over those. Lettuce, for the most part, prefers 65, 68 degree temperature. So if you're doing it indoors, it's ideal. If you put it outside, it'll probably wilt. Too much sun. Tomatoes, they like it a little bit warmer, so roughly 78 degrees. Same thing, if you put them out and it's really, really humid out, they'll wilt. You'll see them wilt and get very sad. And then some of the other things I'm not as familiar with yet. But the growth cycle, if you do a 24-hour light cycle, the growth cycle for lettuce is about 35 to 45 days. You'll have a whole full head of lettuce. What else? The last two things, Growing Beyond Earth project. If you get an opportunity, just Google that, GBE, Growing Beyond Earth Challenge, and you sign up with Marian Litsky, or Latinsky, I think it is, and she basically runs this program. She's amazing. You just fill out I think like a questionnaire of some sort or two. You have to take a quick test just to show that you are familiar with the growth cycle of how to grow vegetables and the light patterns, but I think there's like 10 or 15 questions on it. It's not hydroponics, but it is using LED lights. And if your plant, your cultivar, is chosen, it can go to the International Space Station for astronauts. And for the kids, they love it too, because you get to actually speak to a real astronaut from NASA. So that's really, really cool too. And the last thing about that is they give you a Microsoft Excel template, so your students are constantly updating every week, measuring data from the growth, the height, to the width, to the temperature, the humidity from your hygrometer that they provide you with. So it's very, very interesting and very formulaic. I think your students will enjoy that. It's a great STEM challenge, and hundreds of schools are doing that around the country. But more importantly, they guarantee that we're going to be on the moon, and we're going to be on Mars, and we're going to be needing lots of space farmers, as they call them. And lastly, I just wanted to say thank you very much to Professor Emeritus B.A. Kratky for inventing this and putting his videos out on YouTube. And number two, this guy is hilarious, and he really has a lot of amazing experiments. Jeff Gardner, and then MHP Gardner. This man is he's the guy I want in a doomsday prepper scenario. He's genius, the way he grows tomatoes, and he does so many different experiments with different types of fertilizers, specifically master blend, and then measures them and weighs them. Come on, you have the room. And then Kung Star and Albo Pepper. All right, those are the last two. If you have any questions, comment and give me a like and subscribe, and I'll try to make another video. Take care. Bye-bye.